Well, America is reeling this morning after what was the deadliest act of mass murder in the country in more than a year. A former Army veteran killed 14 people and injured dozens more in New Orleans when he ploughed into a crowd of revellers with a truck.
The FBI have confirmed the 42-year-old from Texas did act alone. For more, security expert Scott Taylor joins us now in the studio. Morning to you, Scott.
Morning.
Now, you believe this attack could have been prevented. What went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the placement of the barriers that were up originally, the timing of the replacement of those definitely could have been much better. But the replacement that had been put in place, you notice that there was vehicles there, but the sidewalks weren't covered. And the thing is, people that are going to commit these sort of acts, their moral compass isn't aligned with ours. They think more broadly than that. So areas need to be covered, such as cycleways, the footpaths, all these areas need to be covered. So that's definitely one element. The other part, the fact that it's now been confirmed about him acting alone, means there would have been elements and timings from a hostile reconnaissance point of view where he would have validated what was there on site.
So he's gone there, we know that.
And when people do that for these sort of situations, they go through to validate what they've either seen online or to verify that their plan is going to work. And it's at those times these people come that have unusual behaviours that stand out. And that's when there's an opportunity then to really get involved and to point out some of those behaviours or make an approach, just any type of deterrent.
Scott, when you look at these pictures of Bourbon Street, just revellers in the street enjoying the night, it was clearly a very soft target as well. Do you see similarities to that to places in Australia?
Yeah, I do. And the other part is it was the culmination of, obviously, you've got the Sugar Bowl as well as the post-New Year's Eve. And when you get mass gathering events for people, they're vulnerable targets. And there's been some great guidelines released by the Australia-New Zealand Counter-Terrorism Committee, and a lot of organisations like you follow those, but we really need to make sure that we're focusing on getting holistic planning, covering traffic as well as security, because it's not just a traditional guns, guards and gates type response.
Yeah, it's much more calculated now, isn't it?
Exactly, and even the vehicles that you're refusing, it's a matter of where you're refusing those, are you sending them back out via a path that may cross over where there's traffic as well, and it's those sort of little areas that should be covered as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if people do have bad intent though, how do you ever stop them if they are intent on carrying out a tragedy like this? How do we ever get in the way of them? Yes, bollards and everything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got to be that combination. So the thing is, there's a lot of different things that can be put in place. You've also got to underpin it by the positive experience of the people attending these events or these areas. Tying together, or how I say, the hardware, software and wetware, so the physical and the electronic security as well, but it's also got to be supported by training, because sometimes it won't be the police or first responders or security. It'll be cleaners or managers or others that have got some training that see there's unusual behaviours. So it's tying that together. And it's also getting the planning but testing it. It's one thing having a great security management plan and event plan, but it needs to be battle tested to make sure. And if they tested some of these things and read some if-then models, if people had come past, what other vulnerabilities could they have had, they're likely would have seen the footpath.
Maybe just got a bit lax about it. Scott, thank you so much for being with us this morning.